I would just like to start this video off by saying that if talking about women having periods grosses you out, now is your time to scroll. Okay, here we go. So it is that time of the month for my wife, and I wanted to make a video on how I help her prepare for that time of the month. So first and foremost, how do I know as a man when my wife's period is on its way? Well, me and my wife have a period app which we both have access to. And it sends me a notification a few days ahead to let me know that it's about that time of the month. So when I get the notification, I know that it's time to start preparing. And when I say preparing, it is my job as her man to make sure she has everything she needs for that time of the month. I, as a man, will never experience a period. I, as a man, will never have a menstrual cycle. And the least I can do is to make sure she's as comfortable as she possibly can be while she's literally bleeding, as well as having excruciating cramps. I got her, and I got y'all. So for starters, my wife prefers to use tampons over pads. I know that some other women prefer pads over tampons, and to each his own. And just for reference, when you use a tampon, you're supposed to change your tampon every 4 to 8 hours. But I do know that some women prefer to just change their tampon every time they go to use the bathroom, whether if they bled or not. And the reason why women have to change their tampon so often is because tampons literally contain toxins. It literally says it on the side of the tampon box. Attention, tampons are associated with toxic shock syndrome. Boom, cause of death. Now, I know some of you might not have known and some of you might have known, but for those of you who didn't know, you might be asking the question as to why does women feminine products contain possible toxins to cause them to be sick and it needs to be inserted inside of them? Ask your government. And because tampons are so toxic, you don't want to sleep with the tampon inside of you. Therefore, I got my wife some of these. They're disposable period underwear. My wife says they're comfortable. All you got to do is wake up in the morning, throw them away, make sure you take a shower afterwards, and start your day. And for the women who've never used them before but are curious, no, they do not leak. From my wife's personal experience, other women might have experienced leaking, but my wife has not experienced leaking at all. So now I want to talk about 2 items that brings my wife comfort when she starts having cramps. The first being this belt. I'm not sponsored by any means, which is why I'm not attaching a link to this video. But what this belt does is you press this button over here and it starts vibrating. And then if you press this button over here, it's for temperature, so it starts getting warmer, and it has 1, 2, 3 as far as settings. So obviously the higher the setting, the warmer it's gonna get. And it goes around the waist. The second thing, which is her go-to, especially when she's stationary, is a hot water bag. And this is just a fuzzy cover, so that way it feels good against her skin. And this is what the actual bottle looks like. You just unscrew the top and pour hot water in there. And you're gonna wanna make sure you fill up this water bottle with very hot water. And of course, because it has the fuzzy cover on it, and you can buy them off Amazon, just type in water bottle for cramps, I believe, 2-liter water bottle for cramps. They come in different covers and different colors and things of that nature. Very helpful. Another comfort item is chocolate. We got the butter cookies, the turtles, the Oreos, the Heath Minis. And lastly, I made my wife brownies, but you see what that pan looking like. I had to go ahead and give me one of them Heath bars, but don't tell my wife though. So because women bleed so much during their period, it is important to pay attention to the iron levels. And to help out with that, I get my wife steak. She prefers a ribeye, I prefer a strip, but this is her steak. And when she gets home tonight, I'm gonna make her some steak and some vegetables and make sure she got some good desserts, make sure she got her water bottle full, make sure she got whatever else she need to make sure she good, so that way she can be comfortable and she can sleep. Once again, me as a man, I will never experience a period. I will never experience a menstrual cycle. But just because it's not my body doesn't mean that it's not my problem.